Now when you feel the thunder and rain, the move across the window blade. Ooh, we better run, do 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 do, run into the mystic nights, run until they take us away, take us away, take us away. Big trouble in Little China. Is this on? Oh, wow. Hey, welcome to 24K Movies and Reviews, TV shows and games. My bad. I was listening to the theme song of our latest movie, and this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite movie of all times. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want you to sit back, relax with your favorite bag of snacks, pull out the popcorn, grab some chocolate milk, because I know I do. Pop the top, take a sip. As we gonna hit one of the hippest flicks back in the day. This movie, oh my God, if you are a martial artist, if you are a Kurt Russell fan, if you are a fan of action, if you are a fan of just campy, funny, amazing stories, you owe it to yourself to see Big Trouble in Little China. Yes, right, ladies and gentlemen. Big Trouble in Little China. You got Big Trouble in Little China, yeah. Oh my God. This movie, the first time that I saw it, Kurt Russell is definitely one of my favorite actors. Kim Cattrall is in this, Ed Wong. There's just so many, basically every martial arts scene you've ever seen in your entire life or actor is basically in this film. Like anybody who ever worked in Hollywood as a stunt coordinator or as a martial arts actor is basically in this film. And John Carpenter, again, captures the sound, the essence, and a world that we just love being just sucked into. The world of Jack Burton is something we've been wanting to visit again for over 30 years. And the fact that it's never got a sequel, it's one of those things that disturbs me, because some of the movies, the trashiest, worst movies in the world, have nice. There's a Sharknado 6. There's an Anacondas 4. There's a Mansquito 2. But there can't be a Big Trouble in Little China Part 2. Come on, guys. Come on, Hollywood. Anyway, I wouldn't want to see it if it didn't have Kurt Russell. It's got to have Jack Burton. You know what good old Jack Burton always says at a time like this, when the pillars of heaven shake and the acid rain falls down? Good old Jack always says, what the hell? So many quotable lines from this movie. Ladies and gentlemen, sit back and relax. We are about to dive into Big Trouble in Little China. Oh my God. This movie is a movie for people who like movies. I am sorry. This encompasses everything a movie should have in it. Fun, horror, comedy, sci-fi, supernatural. Oh my God, there's just so much going on in this movie, and I like the pacing. The pacing, the expository, the three storms. This movie inspired games like Mortal Kombat. This inspired an entire world of everything, and this movie is owed justice. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today in the Game Dojo, we are going to celebrate Big Trouble in Little China. So the movie starts off with my boy Egg Shen, which have you guys, I'm talking to you like you guys can talk back to me. So just, you know what I'm saying, indulge me. There was a movie with Eddie Murphy called The Golden Child, where Eddie Murphy saves the world. Now, think about this. There are not too many movies where Eddie Murphy saves the world. Saves the city, maybe. Saves the area, maybe the metro. But he saved the world with The Golden Child. Charlotte Lewis. If you've never seen The Golden Child, that is another hidden gem you definitely need to see. It has aspects of comedy, horror, supernatural thriller. It's something that you never would expect Eddie Murphy in, but during those times in the 80s, movies came out of nowhere, and that was one of the movies that came out of nowhere. I may do a review about that because that owes some respect and definitely some attention paid to it. But Big Trouble in Little China. So I'm just going to give you the intro that we all received so that you understand the world that we're going into. How about that? That seem good? All right, let's do that.
You at the present time have any knowledge of the whereabouts of a Mr. Jack Burton or his truck?
Oh, God, will you leave him alone?
Mr. Shen, please. You could be in a great deal of trouble. Half a city block explodes in a ball of green flame. Green flame! I mean, so all hell is breaking loose here. And there are people who say you're involved, that you might be responsible.
We are in his debt. He showed great courage.
A few things that I have to know that still don't make any sense to me. Like, you really believe in magic?
Super badass intro. Super badass intro. My boy, Egg Shen. He was also in, the reason why I mentioned The Golden Child is he's also in The Golden Child as a monk. He was used in so many movies. I love that actor. We're introduced to Jack Burton and Wang, Jack Burton's friend, at a card game table, which sets the pace for things in the movie. We start to see a relationship develop on how they are back and forth with each other. They're both truck drivers. They both come into contact with each other from time to time when they hang out. You know, just two guys hanging out, basically. And one of them is about to get married, so he's going to pick up his wife. So he asks Jack, you know, can he tag along with him because he owes him money. And Jack is like, well, you know, we're going to take my truck because I don't trust you that you're going to leave when you owe me so much money, double or nothing. Because they had a little betting game. So they end up going to the airport to pick up Wang's girlfriend, and she's kidnapped. She's kidnapped by the Lords of Death, a street gang from Chinatown. They don't seem like much at the time, and they are pretty much downplayed because very soon we are introduced to much more higher apex predators in this movie, and that's where everything goes from 0 to 100, and this movie just takes off. And some of the action and fighting and martial arts and scenes in this movie, it's just so amazing. The lines, the quotable lines, the scenes, the iconic scenes, the visuals. It's a feast for the senses, and this is the reason why Big Trouble in Little China is just definitely one of the greatest movies that I've ever seen, and I absolutely love it. It is a guilty pleasure, and every time it's on, if you're watching it or if it's on TV, I will stop and watch it because I owe it to myself. I can quote every line from it. Love the movie. So as the movie goes forward, they're treated to trying to get Wang's girl back, which is where they come into contact with the Lords of Death, a street gang in Chinatown, and they're involved in their first altercation in the underworld of Chinatown and David Lopan's realm. And that's where we're going to head right now. Yeah, so things went from 0 to 100 pretty quick. Because remember, this is grounded in reality. So Jack and his, well, Wang had heard stories about, you know, the three storms and Lopan and things like that, but he's never seen anything in the flesh. He's never seen anything like that happen. Jack is a normal guy who is grounded in reality, who's just like, what in the hell did I just witness? Like, did you just see what happened? And the funny part is, before they ounced out the alleyway, they hid underground in this like warehouse place. And when they came out, all the Wing Kong and Chang Sings were dead. Both sides. Both sides. They were all dead. They were wiped out in that alleyway. 3 guys wiped out everybody in that alleyway. Like, yeah. And the funny part is when his boy is explaining things to his uncle over what happened, he's trying to dumb it down, but Jack, who just experienced all this, is like, what are you talking about? Like, I was there. I saw this. This is what happened. And this is one of my funniest lines from this movie that he explains exactly what happens. But the funny part is, this is the reason why a lot of people's like, well, why didn't you just call the cops? Because if you say what he says, what actually happened, it sounds incredibly impossible. But that's also the reason why at the beginning of this movie, my boy was like, well, tell me how can I believe in all of this? And he put the electricity up in his hand. It was like, see that? And that was nothing. But that's how everything starts, as nothing. Like, there's another world. To quote Blade, there is another world we live in. Your world is just a sugar-coated topping. And if you want to survive, you better learn to pull the trigger. Love Blade. Love Blade. But anyway, this is the line I was talking about.
Here, I don't even know what the hell.
Yeah, very easy for you guys to see where they got the concept of Raiden. Guy with a rice straw temple hat, harnessing the power of electricity. He's got the whole nine. So it's not too hard for you to see how Raiden was inspired. The movie's special effects and the ideas and the movie changes, because there's certain elements of this movie that go from being comedy, then it switches and it's a real horror, then it switches and then it's a drama, then it switches and it goes right into some sadness, and then it switches and it goes into lightheartedness, and then it switches and it goes into heavy, deep, tear-weeping drama. Like this movie and John Carpenter has such a talent for harnessing moments, and it's amazing. This thing is a work of art. It's a work of art to me when it comes to movies, because modern day movies forget how to tell a story, how to go where the movie needs to go. I'm quite sure the white tiger scene didn't really need to be put in here, but the fact that it is in here shows you just what you're up against. When Jack Burton pulls the hat up of one of the storms and punches him with all his strength, and then punches him again, and it does absolutely nothing, that lets you know what you're up against. Like, you have nothing. You have absolutely nothing to go up against them with. And he jumps up with 2 feet and kicks him clean across the room. He could have destroyed him and killed him, but he wasn't worth it. He wasn't there for him. Like, the movie and the storytelling is high adventure. And I miss that. I really miss that in movies nowadays. This movie, it takes you within levels of depth of absolute wonder. And I enjoy every second of it, because it just goes deeper and deeper. And then you get to a point where you're just like, what's real, what is not real? And that was the whole point, to make you question what's beyond the physical world that you live and work in. Because for the most part, people are walking around their lives, they have no idea that this is going on. But there are people on the forefronts of that war who are fighting and keeping that evil at bay every single last day for you to walk around oblivious to what's going on. And this is amazing. It's an amazing concept. And I love if they would have had a whole Big Trouble in Little China cinematic universe and just went into deep into the storms. How did the storms become the storms? Were they chosen? Were they gods? Do they come from another realm? Are there different realms? Like, well, you see there are different realms with the underworld and the midworld and hell. Like, there's so much to dive into and sink your teeth into that I wish this was a movie that they had jumped more into. I really do. This movie is great. So anyway, after Wang's girl is kidnapped from the White Tigers, the only place they can go is to the Wing Kong Exchange to see if they can find where they took her. And Wang and Jack go in disguised as phone repairmen. And this is an homage to something that I don't know a lot of people got. Bruce Lee, in one of his movies, Chinese Connection, he disguised himself as a phone service worker to get into the villain's lair. Bruce Leroy also did this in The Last Dragon in order to infiltrate Sum Dum Goy, the fortune cookie factory. But in this movie, they also did the same thing. They disguised themselves as phone service repairmen to go into the front door to get into the bad guy's lair. And it's funny because the whole plan was, we're just gonna waltz in and out like the wind. And when they get trapped and caught inside there, that's one of the things that Jack quotes back to Wang. He was just like, what did you think? We were just going to walk in here, in and out like the wind? Yes, that was your whole damn plan. And they're caught by the three storms of all people, and then you get to see what's under them hats. And I'm going to say, my boy Rain, he got some hair goals. My man need to be in some Vidal Sassoon hair commercials. Well, they all got hair goals, but my boy Rain, he got the ponytail hanging. He looked like a Venom from the 5 Deadly Venoms. He looked like he's definitely from the Shaw Brothers. Like he was training. Like, I don't know if he would be like the Scorpion, or maybe he's the Frog. Maybe he's the Poison Toad. Nah, he definitely looks more like a Centipede character. But he definitely looks like a Venom, like one of the 5 Deadly Venoms. And that's what I'm saying. There's just so much Easter egg wise in this movie that you can take from. The whole Bruce Lee thing of disguising yourself as a phone service repairman to get into the villain's lair. They paid homage to so many martial arts movies, masters, people, and ideals in this movie that it's just so littered with Easter eggs. This is a martial artist masterpiece when it comes to movies, because there's just so much in here to feast on. I love it, absolutely love it. Even to the point where two regular human beings can upset the balance of the supernatural world and save the day. It just goes to show you, how far are you willing to go, Michael? Anyways, as they escape the Wing Kong exchange with the people who were there, Mao Yin, unfortunately, was still inside. They weren't able to find Mao Yin. And what's even more daunting is Gracie Law. She gets captured too. And she's trapped in here by this gigantic, beastly Sasquatch creature. And that's what I'm saying. This movie had just not people. It had creatures, mysticism. It had everything. Like, it had way more than you expected to sign on for when you started the movie. But the movie is brilliant. I have to give him credit. John Carpenter, just credit where credit is due. This movie, this is a movie I could watch anytime and every time. This is definitely a great movie. But they realize they need to go back in there to get her, now both women, because now the woman that Jack Burton likes, Gracie Law, they have to go in and get her, as well as Mao Yin, Wang's girlfriend, because David Lopan wants to marry both of them, because while they were captured, they had a chance to talk to David Lopan. It's not the David Lopan that they saw, the 12-foot tall roadblock, as Jack calls him. It was a little crippled guy in a wheelchair. And Jack doesn't understand how that could be the same person. And they're trying to explain to him that in that 12-foot roadblock form, he's non-corporeal. He's a ghost. He can't touch things. He can't affect things. That's why he drove through him. Like, the car couldn't affect him. But in that feebled old man little state, which is his body, that's what he's in. But he wants to be flesh. He wants to be back here in flesh in the same state that he's in his ghost form. And in order to do that, he must marry and sacrifice one of the girls or both girls in order to appease his emperor and come back to flesh. Which brings us to the climax of the end of this movie. And Egg Shen, the main guy, he realizes what they're up against, and he gives them, all his team, a drink, a special drink. And I don't know what's in it. It's definitely not chocolate milk, because I would love to drink it and see things no one else can see and do things no one else can do. Ooh, that chocolate milk is good. But it puts them on equal level of the Storms and David Lopan's supernatural henchmen. So now our characters, who were once just normal and human, now have the ability to see and do things that the supernatural characters are. So now we're on even grounds. And now comes the epic final battle. And everybody is needed on deck for this final battle. And that's where we lay our scene. You see the look on Thunder's face when Egg Shen flopped back that silver fan and reflected that electricity onto him? Which is like, what? See, this goes to show you, you don't need to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, The Rock, John Cena, Vin Diesel. You don't need to be anything like that to be a hero. Egg Shen is a short, round, stubby guy, and yet and still the fate of the world is in his hands, and he's wrecking shot. He got the PlayStation Stone. He got Indian burns. He out here with the fan reflecting back the electricity. He's taking on the storms with just who he is. This is what I'm saying. You can make a hero out of any character, and that's what solidifies in this movie. Normal human people standing up against insurmountable odds and winning. That's the hope in this genre of this movie. And look at Egg Shen. Like, he even surprised my boy Thunder. My boy Thunder laying on the ground like, what the hell was that? My man Egg Shen, he got the whole bag of whistles, and my man got the cheat codes. My man gave everybody the drink he drank. He got the cheat codes with the fan. He got the PlayStation ball. Yo, he rocking. Egg Shen is like the MVP of this entire team right now. He is the MVP. But this is what I mean when I said, without Egg Shen, none of this would have been possible. But without Wang, who fought Thunder, none of this would have been possible. Without Jack Burton, who you will see, none of this would have been possible. This was an entire team, squad goal. And if they made a game out of this concept and out of this movie, you would have a franchise that would be worth billions, maybe even trillions. But this is what I'm talking about. Like, nobody sees potential in anything anymore. And this right here, oh my God, this movie hits me so many different ways. Like, did you see, there's some CG, but there's a lot of practical. Mostly all of it is practical. Did you see, even when they was in the air sword fighting, they literally gave you a scene where you could see the motion camera move, where you see the two guys in the air, where they probably jumped on a trampoline over to like where a cushion was, but they were sword fighting in the air during that stunt. Like, do you see the level of abilities in this movie? Like, this is insane. Like, this is absolutely insane. This is one of the reasons why I absolutely love this movie. But as we come down to the culmination, to the end of this great fight, and there's so many epic battles in this movie, so many epic battles. We come down to the defeat of David Lopan at the hands of someone you did not intend. Yeah. Yes. My boy Jack Burton defeated the boss. He caught that knife with perfect timing, the correct way, and threw it back in less than a split second. Jack, the a-hole comic relief, this entire movie was needed for that one shining, brilliant moment. Without Jack, the boss could not have been defeated. Wasn't Egg Shen, wasn't Wang, wasn't any member of the Chang Sings. It was Jack Burton, who took down David Lopan with one move. That's why I love this movie, man. I absolutely love this movie. So, after Lopan fell, Thunder decided to explode himself because his master was gone, which only left Lightning. Lightning, which is the coolest one out of all of them, took the crappiest way out. I don't like the way he went out, and part of me believes that maybe they just dropped a statue on him. Maybe he's not dead. Maybe he just got knocked out. I don't. Well, then again, you drop a statue on somebody's head, it'll do some kind of damage. But he's supernatural, so maybe it didn't kill him, which is why I was hoping for a part 2. But anyway, as the place is coming down, they decide to bounce out with Miao Yin and Gracie Law, both Eddie, Wang, Egg Shen. Everybody found their way out, and they saved the world. And back at headquarters at Egg Shen's restaurant, they celebrated. They celebrated a victory, and Wang ended up giving Jack double, nothing or triple he said nothing or double, but he said nothing or triple, you earned it. And he said he did. And you're expecting Gracie Law and Jack Burton to get together. And one of the other people in the room says, geez, ain't you going to kiss her goodbye? And he says no. Because he explains, sooner or later, you know, I rub everybody the wrong way. Just, you know, let me think about it. It's not the type of man he is. This movie has 0 sex in it. And that's another thing. You don't need gratuitous sex to make a movie's viewpoint valid. There is 0 sex in this movie, but it has sex appeal in a bunch of different areas. But it doesn't have the gratuity. This is what I mean, a movie can be made clean, well, and awesome without any of the tropes that everybody just naturally throws in there because, you know, every movie has it. And as Jack walks out the door, he walks into the sunset, into the smoke, and she says, I'll see you around, Jack Burton. He says, you never can tell. He's driving his truck out of town in the rain, and you see that creature crawl up behind his truck, and we get a remnant of, is he going to attack Jack? Is there more to the story? Is something going to happen? And sadly, over 30 years later, we still have not gotten an answer for it. And it disturbs me, but sometimes, you know, things just let it end where they end. And if they tried to do something now, I don't think they would do it justice. I don't think they would have the same production team people, and it just saddens me that more could have been done with this world, and it didn't happen. Like, I think that's really that's the painful part, is that this had so much potential to be so much more. And even some people to this day don't even know what Big Trouble in Little China is. Like, it's an experience, and I recommend it for everybody. I recommend it for everybody who wants to watch a movie. If you're a fan of action, if you're a fan of supernatural, if you're a fan of martial arts, if you're a fan of Kurt Russell, Kim Cattrall, Eddie Wong, Victor Wong, if you're a fan of just great movies in general, you owe yourself to watch this movie at least once. This movie is a great movie. Did it win any Academy Awards? No. And movies like this won't. But they're for the pure enjoyment and escapism of enjoying and watching a movie, taking you out of your world and your environment and putting you to another world for a certain amount of time. Leave your world, come into ours, leave your problems behind, and watch somebody save the world. Maybe it'll inspire you. Maybe it'll give you a little bit of hope. Maybe you can see yourself as Jack Burton. Maybe you can see yourself as his boy Wang. Maybe you can see yourself as an Egg Shen. There is a part for everybody, every body type, every lifestyle in this movie where you can see part of yourself in here. Both protagonist and antagonist. I'd like to have been thunder and lightning. I'd like to be one of the 3 storms, rain, bro. But this is one of the movies where a rating just doesn't quite say it. But I will give you the rating. So in 24K movies, video games, TV shows, and reviews, this is a triple platinum. Triple platinum. Triple platinum. Triple platinum all across the board. Other people have their greatest movies, their greatest lineup of things. Big Trouble in Little China is from a time period and environment where I grew up in. This movie touched me in a certain way that people from different decades, different generations just don't get. And if you get it, I feel you 100%. I salute you. Thank you for being a part of a movement. If you don't get it, you ain't gonna get it. Like, the martial arts in this movie are grounded in reality. They're amazing. The choreography is amazing. The cinematography is amazing. The set design is amazing. The story, the intrigue, like, there's so many tiny little minuscule details that were paid attention to in this world, and they step you into it very quickly to the point you don't need to be spoon-fed or handheld to get what's going on and why it's going on. The expository is literally you living in this role, which is why I said this would make a great game. This would make a great game, and you could be the character of Jack Burton. Great game. Game makers, I don't know what you guys are doing. There are so many great stories out there you guys could take from, but Big Trouble in Little China absolutely triple platinum. Buy it on DVD, buy it on Blu-ray, 4K release, stream it, download it, P2P, torrent it. I don't care. If you are a fan of great watch movies and rewatchability, watch Big Trouble in Little China. It is an awesome time. It is a great time. No brain required. It is a great freaking time. It's got something for everybody in it. And at its heart, it's a masterpiece from John Carpenter. And I know when this movie came out, it was not appreciated for what it was. But now it is an absolute cult classic, and it should be. It should have been appreciated in its times, but most movies are never appreciated in their time. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you for taking a journey with me into the land of Big Trouble in Little China, John Carpenter's masterpiece. This is a world I could jump into any day, anytime, any place, and I feel it. I feel this movie. This movie, I feel it on so many levels, man. Just a great feeling inside of yourself when you finish watching this movie. And it has an ending. Unlike most movies that just don't have an ending, this has an ending, a satisfying. You feel like you've got a full meal, and that's hands off. Hands up, hats off. Great ending. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining me on this lovely day. I will check you guys out another day, another movie, and perhaps another great masterpiece. But this one, Big Trouble in Little China. Ooh, you better run, do 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 do, run into the mystic nights, run until they take us away, take us away, take us away. You'd be like, what am I talking about? I'm talking about this. Run into the mystic night, run until they take us away, take us away, take us away. Big Trouble in Little China. I love this shit. Bill, yeah.